Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of The Mistake Zone, your weekly dose of our lives and the mistakes within them. My name is Jaron Wade. Joining me, as always, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Matt Alba. Hey, Matt.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing pretty 2023 here, Jaron.
Matt, it's a new year and a continuation of the Mistake Zone. I know, just to pull the curtain back just a teeny bit for all our friends out there, Matt, as you said before, during our pre-show, we flew too close to the hiatus sun right there. We went on a break for the last 2 weeks. You know, it kind of is understandable, mostly due to the holidays, but Matt, two reasons why we ended up taking a, for the most part, impromptu break. The first week, our first break came, that was my fault. Actually, I'm going to admit it, both weeks hiatus were both my faults in some degree. First week, Matt had a cold, was scared of, it was the flu, it wasn't the COVID, but Matt, my throat was not great. And
Jaron, it was Christmas, Jaron. It was Christmas.
It was a Christmas cold, and it was one of those colds for me personally where normally when I do have a cold, I have a sore throat, then I have a runny nose, or, you know, both of them together. You know, that's a cold, Matt. That's a cold. But for some reason this time around, I want to say the first 4 days or so were just sore throat. And then the next 3 days were runny nose. So it was one after the other. And Matt, that doesn't make a good podcasting recording environment. I know there are a few episodes in our, you know, this current season of The Mistake Zone where I tried to tough it out and I was a sniffly boy and I didn't want to subject you and all our friends to that. So first week done, Christmas. New Year's, Matt. There was a internet outage in my area that lasted almost 4 days.
Damn.
And Matt, I sent you the screenshots. My download speed fine, my upload speed brutal. And in that outage, it was essentially my internet connection wouldn't be stable. It would drop here and there. So that was a weird couple of days. And I managed to, in that period, watch the new season, I guess the second season of Alice in Borderland. But we're here. Matt, how was your hiatus? How was your Mistake Zone break? What mistakes did you get up to?
Jaron, I think my biggest mistake was overloading myself on mangas at the end of the year.
Oh no, Matt, did you get manga burned out?
I almost got manga overwhelmed, actually.
Oh
because,
no. Okay.
Jaron, I wanted to put out a YouTube video, like a winter anime guide for 2023.
Yes.
But the amount of manga that are turning into anime for 2023 that I actually read was surprisingly for me very little. Like all of the manga I normally or I've had already read are more so coming out in like spring, summer, fall. This winter one was almost blank for me. I think I only read 2 manga inside of this winter anime season. So,
okay.
You know, I didn't want to like do a recommendation video just based off two manga. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go through all of these manga and I'm going to, you know, open them all up, start reading them. And I got that list. It was about 20 series and I just got overwhelmed. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to read through all of these. And I ended up only reading 2 series and I felt like that wasn't enough. And I felt bummed for about a week when I was like, should really start reading the rest of these manga. But I just kept procrastinating. And Jaron, that whole, what do you call it, break feeling during Christmas and New Year's did not help me.
Matt, I know during this break period, I thought, I'll totally, kind of like you, I had all these ambitions of, I'll catch up on all of this 2022 manga, all of this 2022 anime, some of the games that I've been meaning to play, but I haven't. But Matt, I don't know. I think one of the biggest mistakes I made in 2022 is kind of every time I do find myself visiting my parents, having this, you know, lull in my schedule that has, you know, some free time for me opening up just because who really needs to spend family time? You know what I mean, Matt? And I feel like every time I find myself in that break scenario, it is really just me lounging around, bugging my siblings, just sitting around my parents playing with dogs and not necessarily trying to engage in a lot of just media in general. And I know when it is towards the evening, I'm going to bed, I think, oh, maybe I can use the next hour or two to do something. I just find myself being a complete grub and just sitting there browsing various Hololive clips that chances are, Matt, I've probably rewatched countless times throughout the year. So, Matt, I think as we start this year off in the mistake zone, I think one of my resolutions for this year, Matt, I'm normally not one to do resolutions, but I'm trying this time just to see what I can stick. And it is to kind of step away from the service games that I play, on the daily and kind of free up that time to explore other just media in general. I think this year I want to just explore more anime, explore more manga, explore more games, just to bring even more discussion here in the mistake zone. And that's one of my resolutions, in addition to, Matt, stretching more, working out more, trying to learn some languages, trying to better myself as opposed to gotta bang out all these Fortnite dailies and all these mobile game dailies. And Matt, trying to do that stretch kick. Matt, we should all stretch. I think I want to challenge all our friends listening just to stretch some more. And Matt, when I go on Netflix or YouTube and see this, 10-minute stretch, try this core workout, Matt. Those 10 minutes are... Matt, my body hurts right now.
Yo, Jaren, right now, make sure you're sitting up straight.
Yep, I'm trying to, Matt. My posture is bad. But, Matt, if it wasn't clear to all our friends listening right now, this is our Mistake Zone welcome to 2023 by celebrating 2022. This is our year in review episode. What better way just to kind of kick off our mistakes for 2022, Matt? We have a few categories we want to explore, but I think one of the first things I wanted to explore this episode was basically, Matt, it started to me personally with Spotify's yearly Wrapped, which is a year in review of your Spotify listening habits. And I feel like over the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of different services have jumped on that trend. And by the end of the year, they'll serve you up, hey, here's your Steam replay, here's your YouTube replay, of course, your Spotify Wrapped, I think I need to turn off location services because Google keeps sending, hey, here's where you've been this year. Guess what? You haven't left the Greater Toronto area. So I think there are a few different things I wanted to kind of explore with you this year and just go through our Steam replays to see what sticks out. And maybe since I'm kind of lacking content this episode, Matt, I'll go through my Spotify Wrapped as well. But before we kind of go into that, I just wanted to get your thoughts of what do you think of the year in review from all these different services that we consume? Is it something that you enjoy? Is it something that, kind of annoys you? And more importantly, do you think the year in review really influences how you use that service in particular?
Jaren, I conceptually really, really like the year in review.
Yes.
But unfortunately for me, none of the services I use have it. Except for Steam. This 2022 Steam replay is actually the first year in review that I feel is like a accurate look at how I've used that, I guess, particular system or environment, I guess. Because, Jaron, I'm not much of a music listener.
Okay.
So I don't really have a Spotify review that's like worth looking at. So this Steam one, just being able to like look at it and just like see, oh, like, look, there's like Elden Ring on here, or look at how much time I've spent in Vampire Survivors. Like, being able to see that is just really, I don't know, nice to me. And I really hope that more services in the future do it. I hope that YouTube does something like this for just your normal video viewing, because I'm really interested in seeing how trends like rise and fall within my watch history.
For sure. And I'd love to see my most replayed video, which would be kind of disgusting if I think about it. But I think for me personally, Matt, I've been a Spotify user for several years now, and the Spotify Wrapped is something I really do like to see at the end of the year. I know you have everyone on social media going, oh, it's rap season, time to have everyone share, and no one actually cares what people share. But I think for me personally, one, I really like seeing everyone's Spotify Wrapped at this time of year just because I like to see what people are listening to. And I think personally for me, it really allows me just to see, oh, okay, so and so was into this year. Maybe I should check it out. Or, oh, I didn't know this artist released this album. Maybe I should check that out as well. So I think I love this time of year because I do use it mostly as a discovery tool. That's why I like top 50 list from, films of the year, albums of the year, games of the year, just to see, okay, what have I possibly missed? What have people been playing? And I think for me, Matt, I'm personally a stat buff in terms of my own gameplay stats. It's something that I've enjoyed ever since I was a kid. If a game had a stat screen to show, oh, this is how many hours you played, this is how many, this is how many times you did X, this is how many times you've done Y, after I finished that game, I would spend a good chunk of time just going through all of those stats and kind of seeing what that meant to me. So I'm personally a fan of, the Spotify Wraps, the year in review and everything. But I do admit, now that I know Steam does its own replay thing, that just having that in the back of my head that, oh, this is all going to be tracked and this is going to be served to me at the end of the year, that definitely influences how I use that service, just because with Spotify, for me personally, I'm more inclined to listen to a lot more new music. I love going through the new release playlist that is automatically generated for you, just because I want to see what really sticks to me. I want to see how many new artists I listen to, how many minutes of music I listen to at the end of the year. But likewise, I know one of the categories it serves to you is, oh, this is your most played song of the year. You've listened to it X amount of times. And in the back of my head, I kind of almost game the system in a way where, oh, I'm listening to this song a lot, but I don't think this is worthy to be my most played song of the year. So I'll, subdue how many times I listen to it. Or I know Spotify will say, oh, you listened to this song like 14 times on this day. And I'll think, oh, I'm listening to this one song a lot, but again, I don't want it to be my most played song on a given day. So maybe I'll not listen to. So even then, it's a tainted look at my year, because now that I know I'm being tracked, I'm going to it takes away from the spirit, I admit, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should listen to something else just because I'm not going to, have this song or this artist be on my top list. Again, it's tainted, but I think that's what it does for me. And now that I know Steam's tracking in a way where it's going to serve it to me at the end of the year, that makes me more inclined to play more games on Steam. That makes me want to play more games on the Steam Deck, just because it also gives you, hey, what was your breakdown of controllers used, or mouse and keyboard used, or the Steam Deck used? So now that it's in motion, it's okay, how can I add or use this service in a more varied way that I normally would have, just so at the end of the year I'll be served those sweet stats. But Matt, do you have your Steam replay open, and do you want to go through some of the highlights that caught your attention?
Yeah. Jaron, I think one of the stats that I'm just surprised that Steam tracks or decided to put on here is sessions played.
Yes.
That was just a surprising one for me to see, and like see that a lot of these like games are at such a high number. Like
Okay.
Conan Exiles is my most played game by like time for 2022, and I don't know. I didn't think that I played that game that much, but I guess it is like a pseudo MMO.
Yes.
So that makes sense. But to see that I had like 134 sessions for that seems like wild to me.
Man. Do you have your highlights open? Do you want to go through your highlights?
Yeah, my highlights do just show me the Conan Exiles at a 23% of my playtime, my 42 games played, 34 new, 2 demos, which I'm surprised at because I can't remember what those are. Jaren, of course, I have my Elden Ring playtime as one of my top highlights.
Yes.
523 achievements unlocked, which I'm assuming is all from Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, most likely.
Yep. I have, of course, Vampire Survivors on here as well, and I have my keyboard mouse breakdown of 76 keyboard to 24 controller.
Man, I think, Matt, my highlights were a bit more surprising. And again, now that I know Steam is tracking this stuff, now I'm more inclined to use this service. Because, Matt, I think some of my Steam highlights are pretty rough just because I've unfortunately only played 16 games on Steam, Matt.
Oh.
8 of them were new. 2 demos played as well. I know one of the demos was Midnight Fight Express. I'm not sure what the other one was.
Oh, you didn't demo that on Xbox?
I played it on Xbox,
I
but
see.
when it was in the Steam Fest or the Demo Fest, that's where I first tried it.
Mm-hmm.
I have 325 achievements unlocked. 58 of those are rare, Matt.
Nice.
Then I have a breakdown of 83% with controller and 17% with mouse and keyboard. Matt?
Oh, damn. That's surprising to me.
Well, I think this is how it makes sense, Matt. With 52% of my playtime and 148 sessions, Elden Ring, Matt.
That
was
sense.
played with a controller.
Yeah.
But Vampire Survivors, 25% of my playtime, 64 sessions, also played with a controller.
Oh, I see.
And Matt, Fall Guys, 9% of my playtime on Steam, 80 sessions played. When I actually played Fall Guys, I used a controller, but Matt, I'm a dirty AFK boy who just wanted to grind their battle pass, and that was mouse and keyboard.
Nice.
So I think, yeah, as I said before, seeing these highlights, I do want to play a lot more Steam games just because I have my Steam Deck now, and there are a few games coming out that I'm really interested in trying as well. But Matt, I think one of the things that threw me off was the fact that it only tracks, I think Steam said this, from January 1st to I think December 10th or so, because I remember getting this replay around the 14th. So there's that weird 2 to 3 week period where it seems like nothing's being tracked. Matt, again, now that I have this in the back of my head, friend of the site, or not friend of the site, Saturday morning friend, Mark, he gifted me Trombone Champion. And Matt, I sadly didn't play it just because I knew Steam wasn't tracking.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because in that 2 week period, I went ham on Fuser because, Matt, remember I bought that disgusting amount of DLC. But I think according to Steam, Matt, on my replay for 2023, I didn't play Fuser, Matt.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, Matt, now that you're looking at your Steam replay, is there anything that might influence you for 2023 that you want to see in your replay at the end of the year?
There's a portion where it breaks down new releases, recent favorites, and classic games.
Yeah.
I was actually genuinely surprised that my classic games was at 0. I thought maybe I at least like touched something that was classic, but I don't know. Maybe I just gotta boot up Unreal Tournament. Oh no, I can't actually. Jaren, did you know? I never knew that Unreal Tournament is just legitimately removed from the internet. I thought,
is it?
Yeah, I thought it was just removed from Steam.
That's bizarre.
And I thought and I thought Epic just put it into the Epic store, but no, you just legitimately can't get like Unreal Tournament 2004 legally anymore.
That makes me feel, Matt, I'm telling the preservation conversation that we're having here and there. But Matt, I'm looking at my breakdown as well. I have 39% new releases, 56 percent recent favorites, and 5% classic games, which, as you said, the percentage of games you played that were released 8 or more years ago. Matt, I'm not sure what I actually played to be considered a classic game. So I kind of do wish they showed what game it was, just because, as I said, I only apparently played 16 games this year, so I'm not actually sure what could have triggered that. But
Later on in the replay, it actually shows you what games you played this year.
really,
So you could probably just go through that. Yeah.
oh yeah, it does. Oh, Matt, I see. I'm going explore the games you played this year. Yep, you're right, Matt. Can you guess what my game that I played that was 8 years old or whatever?
I honestly have no clue what that could be.
Matt, Payday 2.
Oh, nice.
I totally forgot
man.
I played.
I forgot Payday was that old.
I totally forgot I played Payday 2 this year.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, Matt, I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking I need to play more games, Matt. I need to play more games. But yeah, before we move on to some of the other things we want to celebrate from 2022, is there anything else from the Steam replay that you want to highlight or shout out?
I don't know what this kind of graph is called, where it has like, it's a hexagonal graph and it has like points on it. Like my breakdown is like, oh, what do you play? It's like, oh, co-op campaigns, action roguelikes, Souls-like. Like I kind of like this breakdown here just to like have a general overview of your game taste.
Oh, yeah, no, I do like that section as well. And I'm trying to get to it right now. Matt, I think this is you're talking about you are what you play. The spider graph
Yes.
shows the kinds of games you spent the most time in 2022. And for my spider graph, there are 6 different categories that are highlighted. Matt, what are your 6 categories?
I have co-op campaign, action roguelike, tactical RPG, narration, Souls-like, and Jaron, the wildest one to me, because I don't know what put it here, is superhero.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was Spider-Man. Never
Right,
mind.
right,
Yeah, okay, it's Spider-Man.
So me personally, I have skateboarding, Souls-like, trivia, sports, action roguelike, and cats.
What gave you cats? Did you play Stray? Is Stray a Steam game?
I played Stray on the PlayStation when it came to PS or whatever the PlayStation Premium service is called, but there's actually this puzzle game that was one of the first games I downloaded on when I got the Steam Deck, and that's called Cats Neatly Organized. It's essentially a puzzle game. Yeah. I know the developer also released Dogs Neatly Organized as well this year that I want to pick up as well, but I'm a fan of those. Hey, here essentially it's the Resident Evil inventory puzzle style. And yeah, that was the cat game I played this. That was the superior cat game that I played this year. But yeah, Matt, now that I know, again, I said this countless times already this episode, now that it's in the back of my head, you know, I'm going to do some funky stuff with Steam this year, just so next year I can highlight something that I think would be a lot more, for me personally, proud to show off. But again, tainted because I'm working in the back. I'm backstage, backdoor politicking my Steam replay now. But yeah, Matt, here's to a great 2023 with Steam.
Jaron, I hope Game Pass has one of these, to be honest.
Matt, as someone who plays a lot of Game Pass, I do hope that Microsoft does something like this as well. So Matt, as we said at the top of the show, this is our celebration of 2022, and I think for the rest of this episode, we're going to further highlight some of our favorite and possibly not so favorite things in 2022. And Matt, the Mistake Zone, even though the Saturday Morning Arcade Clubhouse resides in the Mistake Zone started off as our diary of manga and anime related things. So Matt, I unfortunately didn't consume that much anime this year, which is why one of my resolutions for 2023 is just to consume more, Matt. Just so if we're still doing this pod next year, I'll be able to engage with you a lot more. But Matt, you were the resident anime boy of the Mistake Zone in 2022. Matt, can you celebrate and tell us some of your favorite anime just in general for the year?
Just in general, I think it's really, easy to say, oh, Demon Slayer Season 2 at the start of 2022 was like pretty dope. Like just more Demon Slayer, and Jaren, that the art in Demon Slayer is just so well done. I'm really looking forward and hoping that they continue it in Season 3.
Matt, you know me, Demon Slayer has a special place in my heart just because I was ducking it for so long. I know you, Tiger Bear, Sue Bean, they were like, you got it. You guys were all like, you got to watch this. And I said, nah, man, not yet. And surprise, I still haven't watched the second season of Demon Slayer. I haven't watched the movie, but it really makes me glad that it still holds up, that the quality, is able to still be what we expected from ever since 2019, just because, Matt, we weren't recording at the time, but when I think about some of my favorite 2019 anime and some of the sequels or following seasons that it got, Matt, I know we'll probably, if we need an episode topic for the year in 2023, I'll bring this up, but I'll give some spoilers, Matt. To see The Promised Neverland Season 2 after such a... Matt, you know what The Promised Neverland means to me here in the Mistake Zone.
Yeah.
And to see what Season 2 was, I'm kind of glad we weren't recording when I actually watched it, let alone read through the entire manga, because if we ever get to that episode, Matt, it won't be pretty. So to hear that the Demon Slayer quality is still up there, that makes me happy, Matt. What else caught your attention and what you were fond of in 2022?
Jaren, we talked about it kind of like recently, both of these actually. Gundam Witch from Mercury, I think still holds up. Good Gundam series. The series, as it went on, became more about friendship. And Jaren, you know how much we like friendship in Mistake Zone?
Matt, I love friendship.
And Jaren, speaking of friendship, one of our very close friends, Rakush, he's probably actually I was gonna say that Chainsaw Man is probably his favorite anime of the year, but I don't want to put words into his mouth while he's not here. But I think Chainsaw Man did do a good job of like giving as good of a story as it could towards like the whole Chainsaw Man like saga. And I'm looking forward to the next season of Chainsaw Man.
Rakush actually I'm not sure if he told you, but he told me his anime of the year, and I told him, hey, this Sunday we're recording, stop on by, come into the Mistake Zone, tell us your anime of the year. And he told me,
is it
too embarrassing? Matt, should we do Rakush dirty?
You're right, Jared. We should have put Rakush on blast while he's out here to defend himself.
That's true. But Matt agreed. Chainsaw Man. I did go through just to watch a few episodes as well. And Matt, that might be my Demon Slayer of 2022 of getting to it really late. And spoilers, Matt. This April, I'm planning a trip, and that might be my plane trip viewing, similar to Demon Slayer back in 2019. So, Matt, any other anime that you want to shout out?
One of the actually big surprise anime for me this year is Summertime Render. I don't know if you know that anime or not, Sharon?
I do not, Matt. Please paint me a word picture.
Summertime Render is basically just a kind of a mystery anime, an action mystery anime about this guy who's trying to solve a kind of haunting that's happening in his hometown that's like on an island in kind of like rural Japan. And I don't want to go like too deep into plot there because I think it is kind of like a mystery suspense type thing, but it's a very like tight 25 episodes, and I think that as a full series, that is like a very, very good watch if you have time.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out.
Hmm. And I think, Sharon, one of my favorite anime from this year just happened last season, Jaren. Bochi the Rock. This is a good anime. Like, Jaren, I know how much you like Hitori Bochi, and I think this Bochi the Rock is basically just a good like replacement. I don't know if replacement is like too strong a word. I don't know, but it fills that same niche for me, and I don't know. I really really like it. Even like the manga was pretty good, and the fact that the transition from it going from a manga to anime really really helped it in terms of the music, which I think was like really important, and one of the things I was really worried about when the transition was happening.
Matt,
Mm-hmm.
can I say something really unfair right now?
Uh huh.
So, Matt,
Uh huh.
if I had to give a anime award, some sort of anime recognition, I think Bochi the Rock would be my 2022 most I should have watched this
Uh
anime.
huh.
This is on paper an anime that, for the most part should be my jam. One, girl band
Mm-hmm.
music anime, given what given some of my favorite anime in general, given some of the rhythm games that I currently play, definitely up my alley because I love music, anime, adjacent things.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, socially awkward girl, cute girls doing cute things.
Mm-hmm.
Put that all together, this should be my jam,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But Matt,
Mm-hmm.
2019,
Mm-hmm.
my anime of the year,
Uh huh.
Hattori
Yep.
Bochi. And Matt,
Mm-hmm.
it's 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at everyone saying how much they love Bochi the Rock. I should love Bochi the Rock,
Uh huh.
but part of me in the back of my head, every time I see a Bochi meme, every time I see someone say, oh, so and so is essentially Bochi the Rock, she's there, the actual real life, quote unquote, real life Bochi the Rock, even though they're a VTuber.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt,
Mm-hmm.
in the back of my head, I keep thinking, guys, 2019, Hattori Bochi. Like, I should watch this anime before I can. Matt, I'll probably love this anime,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it should have been Hattori Bochi, Matt. All these memes should have happened back in 2019, 3 years ago, and then maybe we would have got a season 2.
Jared,
But
Jared. This is as close as you're ever gonna get to Bochi season 2, I think.
every time I see a comparison, every time I see a meme, every time someone says, this is just like Bochi, in the back of my head, I think, yeah, this was like Hattori Bochi back in 2019. And I think that's my most. Jaren is a unfair jerk of 2022.
No, no. I mean, Jared, while we're talking about anime that like you liked, I'm pretty sure that this last one that I want to bring up is like way up your alley, or one of probably like I think probably one of the ones you really liked last year,
Yes.
which is My Dress Up Darling.
Matt,
Uh huh.
considering that every time a new chapter comes out and we talk to each other about it, I
Mhm.
completely forgot My Dress Up Darling was like one of 3 anime I finished in 2022. And Matt, I know in the near future we're planning to discuss the latest Dress Up Darling, story arc that just recently concluded in the manga. But Matt,
Mhm.
this was something we talked about in one of the few times we saw each other during COVID. We talked about, hey, Dress Up Darling anime was announced. Can't wait for them to hit this, and this story beat. But how did you feel about the adaptation and it finally making the anime airwaves?
I really liked the adaptation. I thought it's like very well done. I'm actually curious on how they're going to handle, I guess, future arcs, because the pacing for that show or I think it changes more towards the middle. It shifts more from a cosplay focused anime to a romance focused
Yes.
anime, and I'm kind of just like curious to see how that's gonna go in the anime adaptation.
Yeah, not to again, just to give a preview about our discussion when we finally get to the latest arc in the manga of Dress Up Darling, it's that's something that I'm also curious what future arcs will convey in the anime, just because, without getting too much into it, my Dress Up Darling right now, I would say, is pretty much 80, even 90% cosplay focused. It does explore a lot of the secondary characters, a lot of Goto and Marin's friends, and for the anime to take such a focus on the romance aspect, you're right, Matt. That's something I'm really curious to see if the anime will start taking liberties, just because, yeah, even considering what I feel like will most likely be in the second season, probably my favorite arc in general so far in Dress Up Darling. I think even then, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but the arc, slight spoilers. There will, of course, Matt, it's a high school anime. There's going to be a culture festival. And I think even that one, romance really takes a back seat. Sure, Marin's really still tackling her feelings, but it is a lot of Goto trying to deal with how he sees himself, how he thinks people perceive him as well. And that's more so a Goto story in comparison to the romance aspect. And I'm really curious to see if they do take the liberty to add more romance, subplots or instances, just to kind of keep everyone coming back. Just because, yeah, right now in the manga, it is purely, not necessarily purely, but there is a lot more cosplay than in general. But Matt, now that you opened up the floodgates, I really did love the adaptation of My Dress Up Darling. I remember telling you when the first episode aired that I wasn't initially so sold on Goto's voice. I think Marin is portrayed perfectly, but his voice actor really did grow on me as the season commenced. And Matt, just a lot of fun. I really do adore Dress Up Darling. I have a bunch of manga volumes on my shelf right now. So
Nice.
yeah, that is definitely one. That is a anime I definitely watch in 2022. And by default, one of my favorite animes of 2022 as well. But
Top 3 anime. Yep.
Matt, what closing off your favorite anime moments of 2022, anything else that you want to share as well in terms of actual moments or OPs or EDs?
Jaren, I think you can't talk about anime openings in 2022 without talking about your boy Kongming.
Okay.
I feel like that was such an iconic opening. Just having that kind of funky dance kind of opening, I feel like I saw that everywhere for a while. I saw a lot of parodies or homages to that with different characters. I think that was probably, for me, the opening of 2022, or anime opening of 2022.
Matt, as someone who hasn't consumed a lot of anime this year, I only know that song you're talking about just because I was served that a lot on my YouTube recommendations. So again, as someone who didn't consume that much anime at all, I know exactly which song you're talking about just because I saw the thumbnail, I clicked it, and I thought, yep, this is a jam. This is definitely a jam. But yeah, Matt, thank you for sharing some of your favorite anime, just moments in general of 2022. I think that is some of the things you did mention is something that I really do want to come back around to and check out. But Matt, here's my promise for you for 2023, that resolution. I'll watch more anime, Matt, so we can better converse this next year. Maybe we'll even have enough content for its own episode.
Jaren, are we going to do a Mistake Zone recap at the end of 2022?
Maybe, Matt. Let's talk after this episode.
Okay.
So, Matt, now that we hit the first pillar of the Mistake Zone in anime, there was a lot of manga that we consumed in 2022 as well.
Yes.
Not necessarily, in my opinion, enough for us to have a full segment, but I feel like as one of the foundational pillars here in the Mistake Zone, we need to shout out some of our favorite manga just in general from this year, whether it be ongoing manga, new manga, specific chapters. And Matt, just to get the ball rolling real quick, I think my favorite chapter of 2022 comes from Hitomi-chan is Shy with Strangers. This is chapter 84. Matt,
Mhm.
I wish I had a manga recap at the end of the year, because if there was something like Spotify Wraps, hey, you read this specific chapter X amount of times. Chapter 84 of Hatami-chan is something that I honestly went back to time and time again ever since I read it initially. I believe it was around June is when I read it. And I think I've read it at least half a dozen times since. Without getting into too much spoilers, Matt, Hatami-chan is Shy with Strangers is a romance comedy slice of life manga. And Matt,
Mhm.
let's just say chapter 84 is, if there's one word I can use to describe why I like it so much, it's progress. And given how much different, harem manga, unfortunately, I read, how much romantic comedies I read this year, if there's one thing that people want, it's progress, Matt. And
Mhm.
chapter 84 is something, this is essentially my hit the desk, let's go, chef kiss. This is probably the most excited I've been for a manga chapter this year. So I have to shout out chapter 84 of Hatami-chan. And yeah, that, I think that is my manga chapter of the year.
Mhm. I think for me, when you're talking about progress in a manga series, last year it came in Return of the Mount Hua sect. I think that this manga, in and of itself, is just a very, I think, a generic-ish story. As far as manhwa go, basically, dude he gets reincarnated, and he finds that like his old sect is now like the bottom of like the rung in terms of like quality. So the whole story is generally him just making his old sect better, or becoming
Okay.
the best again. And this year it really hit that like turning point where, hey, this guy's been hiding his skill since the start of the manga, or start of the manhwa, and it finally hit that point where he's revealed himself, and now all the cool stuff that he was setting up for is finally happening. And
Okay.
Jaren, I think I've like reread the reveal chapter a bunch of times because I think it's just such a good reveal, and I don't know, it gets me hyped, Jaren, and I really really hope that manhwa start getting adapted more
Right.
into
Okay.
to anime, or I guess like whatever the Korean equivalent word would be.
Definitely. That sounds really cool, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for myself, my final mention for just manga of the year, or some of my favorites of the year,
Mm-hmm.
I think I guess I'll call this my rookie of the year, something that I believe debuted in 2022, and something that I've really enjoyed watching or reading throughout the year. Not necessarily throughout the year, but Matt,
Mm-hmm.
it's a manga that you introduced me to.
Oh.
It's, I would say, a gag manga, but Matt,
Mm-hmm.
you know me, and I don't think this will surprise you, but I have to shout out Temptation of Shirogal and Kurogal. Matt, I love this manga, and I'm so glad you introduced this to me. I think it's, to me personally, it's one of those things that I personally enjoyed, but at 28 chapters, it's currently riding that fine line between, oh, okay, this is the gag, but is there anything more to it, if
Mm-hmm.
that kind of makes sense? Where I think the gag in itself really does hold its own for, let's say, the first. I've only read 28 chapters. I believe there's only 28 as of now, but I feel like maybe once we hit the 30 mark, I would like to see it explore kind of more of a storyline. But in terms of gag manga and all something in that realm, I really do like Temptation of Shirogal and Kurogal, just because it's really fun. I think it's a really funny twist of the gal flirt genre, if that's an actual genre.
That has to be a
But
genre.
again, that's something I really enjoyed. But for 2023, I do hope that it is able to expand more than just its singular gag of having a wingman for one of the gals. as it turns out, and actually explores the relationship between, or the relationship that this gal wants. And Matt, I have to agree with the comments. Our otaku wingman has to get some sort of story as well. That's my hope for 2023.
I think lastly for me, Jaren, as far as manga go, there's two more that I want to shout out real quick. These are both manga that ended in 2022.
Okay.
The first one is a very comfy anime or manga. Don't Blush Sekime-san.
Right.
It was pretty short, actually. I think it was only 43 chapters. So, it's a light read. It's a very light kind of high school romance type thing. I think it's a really like nice light fluff romance type thing. And the other one, Jaren, is a long running series that finally ended. It was Love is War. Love is War the manga version of Love is War finally ended in 2022. And if you haven't read it, I think it's a good time to go into it.
Matt, that's a beefy boy, is it not? I think that's over 200, correct?
Yeah, it is. It ended at chapter 281, Jeremy.
Okay. Man, that's
a good series.
That's definitely been on my radar as well that I want to look into. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there also I think it's a 4-Coma spin-off as well? Did that end as well, or?
I don't know if that ended actually.
Okay.
But like for the chapters that I did read, it's a pretty good like side manga where it's just people fawning over Kaguya.
My favorite, Matt. I love those type of characters. And I think what I want to mention as well, now that you mentioned manga that did finish off in 2022, I think I do have to mention Dr. Stone, which ended, I believe, around March. Matt, I don't know if we'll ever save this for a standalone episode, but again, Matt, going back to my golden era of anime, 2019, Dr. Stone is something that I have been following. Kind of the manga. I did enjoy the mini season that did come, the Stone Wars mini season as well. I'm not sure if we were still recording then, but since the end of that mini season, I did continue with the manga, and then it finally concluded with chapter 232 back in March. And Matt, if there's one thing I could, one word or phrase to describe the ending of Dr. Stone, Matt, unfortunately, I'm not sure if you read it, but for me personally, I really do think the ending was hurt by pacing issues. I think just thinking about the whole Dr. Stone run, there were arcs that definitely dragged. And for the final arc, there was a lot of things that just seemed like these sped through just to kind of get everything out of the way. And I know in the long run of Dr. Stone, the big reveal about when they reveal what who, quote unquote, who the antagonist or the main big bad of the entire series was, I think that reveal when they're shown or heard of from the first time, even if it was a manga page that I read it through, I literally got goosebumps. And kind of to see how that all wrapped up in the end, like the reveal of who the big bad was, Matt, I'll be honest, I was kind of disappointed overall with the ending of Dr. Stone. Kind of rolled my eyes as well, but there are some gems sprinkled throughout. There is some good moments of friendship, Matt. There are some good secondary characters, but unfortunately, it ended this year. And yeah, pacing issues, weak, big bad reveal. And honestly, Matt wasn't really that big of a fan of the ending, but given what Dr. Stone is, I'm not sure how you actually could end it on a more, better note. But yeah, that's, I guess, my disappointing ending of the year manga-wise has to go to Dr. Stone. So I don't know, Matt. I think after a disappointing manga rollout, I think for me, any of the upcoming Doctor Stone seasons, I think I'll check out a few episodes here or there relating to arcs, but I don't know, Matt. I think that was a fumble from the last year. But Matt, that was manga for the year. I feel like we'll try. I personally will try to structure this better through 2023, just so I can bring more to the table next year. But Matt, before we transition into the Saturday morning arcade zone, I think my MIA award has to go. Matt has to go to. There's a ghost behind the Gairu.
Oh man,
Galru. So I hope we see more chapters this year because Matt, I love me some Gal and Ghost adventures.
Jaren, while we're on that thread, actually, can't forget about see you at the food court tomorrow. Is tomorrow in the title?
Yep, tomorrow.
Oh man.
Yep.
Jared, I hope that comes back. I hope that fake end that we saw actually was fake.
I think Author-kun said Author-san said that they're going to go into serialization, I think. But I'm hoping we can see more because Matt, my desktop background right now is from See You at the Food Court tomorrow.
Nice.
So Matt, in terms of 2023, the Mistake Zone wants to see more of See You at the Food Court tomorrow, and there's a ghost behind the Gairu. So Matt, hopefully. God, the Mistake Zone is just my love of all characters, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So, Matt, we've talked about the 2022 anime and manga that helped fill the void in our hearts for the last year. But, Matt, if there's one thing that the Mistake Zone truly runs on, that's consumerism, Matt.
Yep,
Matt,
Jared.
Let's talk about some of our good and bad buys of the year. So, Matt, when you told me, hey, should we talk about some of our favorite and not so favorite buys of the year, I think there's one real regret that instantly came to mind, and it came around the Black Friday timeline. And Matt, I purchased a game that I've wanted to play for a long time now in Riders Republic, which is, I was in one of the closed betas. It was something I was really looking forward to, but it was one of those games I thought, okay, I'm just going to wait for it to go on sale just because it had one of those year one season passes that added more, different. It added BMX bikes, different vehicles, and all these other things for you to enjoy, this open world extreme sports game. And Matt, I finally purchased it around Black Friday this year. And just due to other commitments, other games, I have yet to play Riders Republic. And Matt, what makes this my worst purchase of the year is one, I haven't played it yet. And two, it was cheaper around the Christmas Boxing Day period. So I could have saved roughly $10, Matt. And for me paying $10 extra and still not playing it,
damn.
Unfortunately, I think Riders Republic was my mistake purchase of 2022.
Jaren, I think my big mistake purchase of 2022 is a toy pistol that I bought, Jaren.
Okay.
Jaren, it is a toy pistol that looks semi-realistic. It has an ammo holster that, comes out of the handle, and then you can fill it with foam bullets that go into kind of shells.
Yep.
So that when you shoot it, the shell pops out of the top like a real gun, right, Jaren?
Yep, sure. I don't know how a real gun handles, but sure. I'll nod my head.
Jaren, this toy is so scary.
Oh gosh.
Jaren, it shoots the bullets out. The bullets, first of all, are very small. They're like 2 centimeters long. They're tiny. They shoot out so fast that it's scary. And I'm scared I'm not going to find them, when they pop out. The shells come out. I think the shells coming out is pretty cool. But I'm scared to use this toy, Jared, because I feel like these are going to somehow damage my walls if I miss.
Matt, where did So two questions. Matt, where
Uh-huh.
did you purchase this? And two, do you think in purchasing this you're on a list somewhere?
I don't think I'm on a list somewhere, and I bought it off Amazon.
Okay. Okay, Matt. So Matt,
Uh-huh.
we talked about our bummer mistake purchases of the year. What was something that you really enjoyed buying this year?
Jared, I think this is gonna show a really weeb side of me, but I bought a Jinbei.
Okay.
Jared, I like walking around the house in my Jinbei. It's very free flowing, and very airy. It's very nice for the summer.
Right. I don't know what that actually is, Matt.
Oh, it's like one of the in Japanese bathhouses how they have those kind of like robes and stuff. It's like a very light robe. It kind of just like ties in the front. You have like shorts as well.
Okay, yeah.
It's that thing.
Oh, okay. So what Goto
Yeah.
wears in Dress Up Darling.
Oh yeah, actually yeah. That's
Okay,
basically
okay.
exactly it.
I know what you're talking about now, Matt. I'm cultured. I know, I know.
Yeah,
Matt,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite purchase of the year was something that I talked about on the Mistake Zone. Matt,
Mm-hmm.
of course, it's my Hatsune Miku
Hey.
World is Yours, World is Mine figure that is currently in my wall that I'm looking at right now. Matt,
Mm-hmm.
I look at this every time I enter my office. I look at it every time I leave my office. It is one of, I think, several things on my wall right now to prove I'm a degenerate. But Matt,
Uh-huh.
I said it on that episode. This Hatsune Miku, the World is Mine figure is something I've wanted for so long. And now that I have it, I make sure that I appreciate it on my wall. And that is probably my purchase of the year 2022.
Nice. Sharon, this one
Yes.
this one isn't my purchase of the year, but I think this is like one of my this is maybe one of my favorite things that I've bought
Okay.
is the new 8-bit doll ultimate controller.
Oh, okay.
Jaron, this thing is like just a very nice controller, like a very nice third-party controller. It is wireless. It connects to my Switch through Bluetooth. It connects to my PC through just radio wave. Like they have a dongle that you just put into the PC. Like just having one controller that goes between both is very nice. It's programmable, so you can remap keys as you want. It has bumpers on like the underside, kind of like the Elite 360 controller that you
Right.
can map. Like it's just a very nice controller, Jared. And like I don't know, just having one controller that I can just pick up. It comes on a with a charging dock that you just like leave
Oh,
there.
nice.
Like
Nice.
it's just I don't know. It's overall a very nice package. The controller quality is very nice, and I don't know. It's just Jared. It's an amazing machine.
Oh, okay. So this gets your it's an amazing machine of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Matt. Okay. That's actually really cool. And can it connect to your phone or
I've actually yes, no, yeah, I can because there's a you can connect through Bluetooth because there is an app on your phone that also lets you modify like your key bindings and stuff on it.
Oh, that's actually really cool. Okay. Maybe that's something I want to check out as well just because I know since I'm subscribed to Game Pass, I do want to kind of see how their cloud gaming stuff works in certain situations. So maybe I'm always in a market for some sort of controller that can pair well and would actually kind of fare well with cloud gaming. So maybe I'll look into that as well.
But Jared, my favorite thing that I've bought for 2022 is this little dumb Bluetooth receiver that you can plug a 3.5 millimeter jack into, and you can use any headphones as Bluetooth headphones.
Oh, that's pretty good, Matt. That's pretty good.
Worth the purchase.
Okay, Matt. I think we bought a lot of stuff here in 2022. A lot of stuff that, as I said, might have regretted Riders Republic, but there might be some other things that I won't mention for now. But Matt, let's New Year's resolution. Let's see if we can manage our budgets a bit better.
Sure. Jared, I can already tell you that in 2023, I've already bought one thing I regret.
Well, can't wait to hear about it next year, Matt. So, Matt, if there was one thing I played a lot of in 2022, now that we're properly in the mistake zone, I mean, the Saturday morning arcade clubhouse, this episode. It's Matt. I played a lot of Fortnite. You know me. I'm a Fortnite boy. With the introduction of Zero Build, I've gone in hard on Fortnite. I've been able to play with a lot of friends as well. And Matt, if there was one list I could comfortably make this year, it is my top 10 2022 Fortnite skins of the year.
Okay.
These are my favorite skins that were released last year. Matt, if you were to ask the average Fortnite player, I believe they would call my list mid, which it could be. But Matt, if you could search these skins along as I reveal them, you'll probably see, okay, I can see why this is on Jaren's top 10 of the year. But Matt,
let's see how many of these are girl skins, Jaren.
Well, you'll see, Matt. You'll see.
Okay.
Matt, before I start off, I want to go through my most disappointing skin of the year.
Okay.
And Matt, unfortunately, my most disappointing Fortnite skin of the year has to be Son Goku from the Dragon Ball collaboration. Matt, the Dragon Ball collaboration was probably one of the biggest collaborations Fortnite has had. It speaks to what the Mistake Zone is. It's a fan favorite anime, you know, from anime lovers and not anime viewers. You know, Dragon Ball holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and for it to actually come to Fortnite, it's something that a subsect of the community has wanted for so long. And Matt, let's just say the anime skins in Fortnite aren't necessarily the best looking in terms of quality. I think it's just the way they do their anime shading that a lot of the early anime skins don't necessarily look the greatest. I feel like as they release new skins, they've gotten a lot better. But even though the second wave of the Naruto skins weren't the best, I think my most disappointing skin has to go to Goku, just because it's Goku, Matt. This is something that people wanted in Fortnite for so long. And honestly, since it is, I believe, the Super iteration, you know, there is kind of this difference in how he looks in Super and how he looks in Z. You know, we'll put that aside. But I think, again, based on how the character is shaded, I think when I get to some of my favorite skins of the year, this will make a lot more sense. But essentially, I feel like if they were to add darker kind of lines on Goku just to make his anime skin like style have a bit more depth, I think the skin would look a lot better. But as it is now, I think the Goku skin suffers from the same problems a lot of the early anime skins kind of run into, where the filter isn't quite right, the shading isn't quite there, the lines aren't as in depth as they should be. So I think, given the legacy, or, you know, the anticipation of Goku in Fortnite, and to see how he actually turned out, just because, again, when he was announced for Fortnite, everyone went, oh my God, it's actually happening. And just to see how he looked, Matt, that has to be my most disappointing Fortnite skin of the year. Sure, Vegeta has a big head, and I wish they kind of made his head a bit smaller, but it's Goku, Matt. You can't screw up Goku, and it's not the best skin. So to me, that's the most disappointing Fortnite skin of 2022.
Do they ever rework skins in Fortnite, or no?
They do, but not. Some of the anime skins haven't been reworked before. Like, they have made changes to skins, just adding different styles. But it's something that I would hope they would do for Goku. But like, in terms of the anime skins, it's something that they haven't done before.
I see.
So, Matt, let's get to my top 10.
Okay.
I think my honorable mention has to go to the Doom Slayer from the Chapter 4 Season 1 Battle Pass, released on December 4th. Matt, it's the Doom Slayer. Like, as we get closer to Fortnite becoming this ultimate showdown, I think he just makes sense for the game. Now the Doomslayer can fight, Marcus Phoenix, Mr. Halo, Master Chief. I legit forgot Master Chief's name for a hot second. So I don't know. He just looks great. I do love the Doomslayer in the game. So he was one of the surprises for the Battle Pass. But anyway, my top 10, I feel like I need to say that I'm judging this based on the skin themselves, but also their accessories, whether it be their back bling, their pickaxe if they have one, their glider if they have one, the different styles, that also goes into how I feel about these skins. But Matt, number 10 on my list is Glitch. She was released in the item shop on November 25th. Glitch is a kind of android character. The reason why I like Glitch and then her male counterpart, whose name kind of slips me right now, is Matt. Fortnite has different weapon skins, and they released some characters before where you can actually use your weapon skins and equip them to your character's that character model. So I think the first wave of those characters were kind of like these raver, concert goer characters, and they weren't really my cup of tea. But when they released Glitch, this android with a face mask, she has a face mask, of course, I want to play as her then. You're able to use your weapon skins to kind of customize your character. So again, it's something, the level of customization is something that I really like for Glitch. Sure, they've done this type of character before, but it's now a model that I really do enjoy. So have to give it to Glitch, number 10, just so I can actually further use my weapon skin collection that has come over the years. And that, if I'm, say, using my Iron Man weapon skin and put it on her, now she looks like a bootleg Avenger. So that's my jam. Number 9 is Ava from the item shop, released on October 28th. And that Ava is your kind of gamer girl. What I do like about Ava, though, is her kind of transformation. So she has two styles. One is her gamer self persona, and then the next is her in-game persona. I think it's a really unique skin. Her built-in emote lets you transform between the two inside a match. So again, I really do like the character, but what really pushes this character to be on my top 10, Matt, her pickaxes are essentially fan sticks, from like concerts.
Oh,
so
nice.
Matt, I needed to give her the pen lights, and I was able to give those to Ariana Grande. So just the transformation, the pen lights, Ava gets my number 9. Number 8, I'm giving to the Ageless from Chapter 4, Season 1 Battle Pass. Matt, I think, I'm not sure if you remember, but in an episode that Rakush was on, I was talking about how, the Fortnite Battle Passes, the level 100 skins are all Marvel characters. They've been collab characters for like the last several seasons. And I think the Ageless, also known as Gino in the Fortnite comics, it actually plays into the Fortnite lore. He's the first original level 100 skin in several seasons, as I said before. But Matt, his style is this knight that I think the style reminds me of the angel enemies in Bayonetta. So essentially in his knight style or whatever, he totally looks like a Bayonetta 3 boss, or, just a boss you would see in the Bayonetta game. So just stylistically, he's a knight that I just love that aesthetic. Just kind of bring all those together. The first original level 100 Battle Pass skin that I don't know how you kind of describe that style, but I'm really a fan of his armor, so he gets my number 8.
The armor really, honestly, gives me hard Destiny 2 vibes.
Yeah, like it's something you can probably find in Destiny, maybe in like Warframe as well. I don't
Warframe
know
as
what
well.
that aesthetic is called, but I really do like it, and it's nice to see that type of armor kind of in Fortnite as well. But Matt, moving on, I'll try to get through these quickly. Lennox Rose from Chapter 3, Season 4's Battle Pass. Matt, anime girl. I think she's one of the better anime girl characters. She's just essentially this mercenary looking character that she seems like she would fit in a neo-futuristic as a bounty hunter. Matt, you can definitely see her as an anime, kind of action anime lead. So she's been one of my favorites. I think it's her the blue and black style that I'm a really big fan of that I use when I have her in my favorite rotations. So got to give it to Lennox Rose. Matt, number 6. His name is John Cena. Item shop released on July 29th. Matt, it's John Cena.
John Cena.
Like, what more can I say?
Yep.
I think what I have to mention, though, Matt, is when you have all these celebrities when they're added to the game, to Fortnite, their rarity is called icon. So, say Ariana Grande, Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars is in Fortnite?
Matt, Bruno Mars is my number 12. I mean, top Fortnite skin of the year because he looks stupid. And I think the quote was when the Bruno Mars collaboration was going on and he asked him, hey, do you want to be in Fortnite? And then he's like, oh, can I be shirtless and have a lot of muscles? And Epic was like, yeah. And he's like, let's go, I'm in. So I love the Bruno Mars skin. Not a top 10 skin for me, but that's another honorable mention. I love the Bruno Mars skin.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But so yeah, they're an icon rarity. But Matt, you would think, oh, John Cena, he would be an icon rarity. He's considered an epic rarity character, mostly because this isn't John Cena the person, but John Cena the WWE persona, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, true.
But Matt, top half, number 5, I honestly think this is the best anime skin in Fortnite. I have to give it to All Might when he was an item shop character for the My Hero Academia collab on December 18th. Matt, All Might is what I hope all future anime skins in Fortnite look like. This is what I mean, where I'm not sure if you can look him up, but I think his shading's on point. The lines have depth to them. I feel like if the same amount of detail was given to Goku, the Goku skin would be so much better. But I think All Might, just with how much attention they gave to him, how much detail they gave him, by far the best anime skin they've released. But Matt, one of my favorite things is you can switch between All Might and then his, normal human persona, unpowered persona. So he has a built-in emote as well where you can you can switch between the two, similar to Ava in the middle of the round. So me personally, I like playing as, normal All Might, playing the round. And if I win, Matt, I hit that emote, he transforms into a big All Might, and then he does the All Might laugh. Matt, BM to the max. I love me how All Might is in the game. And it also poops on the Incredible Hulk, who also was introduced in 2022. Matt, he doesn't even have the Bruce Banner persona. If All Might can transform, then so should the Hulk. I'm just saying, the Hulk was also another disappointing skin this year.
Yeah.
Matt, to round it all off, Joni the Red, December 2022 crew pack skin. Matt, she's part of the High Stakes Club, which is this new... Matt, there's like little bits of pieces of lore, but essentially the High Stakes Club is just a group of teenage vampire hunters. And Matt, I really do like her style. What really pushes her to the top is in her December crew pack, she came with a lobby music track, which is a banger to me. I love that song. Overall, I love how she looks, her different styles, her pickaxe, the song she comes with. And Matt, Epic Games actually released a kind of companion cinematic for her, and it makes me think, man, I really do wish they released more shorts, especially for Joni and the High Stakes Club. So she's my number 4. And Matt, my top 3 Fortnite skins of the year. Number 3, have to give it to another High Stakes Club member, Halsey. She was part of the Chapter 4 Season 1 Battle Pass. Matt, the reason I love Halsey so much is she's, one, a vampire hunter, But 2, she works at a boba shop. Matt, her back bling is a boba cup that you can either pick taro, matcha, milk tea, or strawberry. Her coat trails when you dive is just a bunch of bubble tea flying from her. She has an emote where you ride along a giant boba, a bunch of boba as you drink bubble tea. Matt, I love Pelzy. She has a stupid star, or like her boba bubble tea place work uniform. She's a vampire hunter. Love her look. And again, I love the high stakes club. Matt, number 2. This is, I have to give to Evie from Chapter 3, Season 3's Battle Pass. Matt, I don't know. I just like how Evie looks. I personally like her sweatpants style. I know Julian is a fan of her dress style, but I think Evie, that she was from a weaker season. I know the vibing Chapter 3, Season 3 Battle Pass wasn't everyone's cup of tea. She was one of my favorite skins. I don't know. I just like how she looks. People will think that's a pretty boring, but I think aesthetically, she was one of my favorite skins this year. And Matt, this brings me to my favorite Fortnite skin of the year. Matt, can you look up Layla Fortnite skin on Google?
Layla. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah. This is basically just, if you had custom designs on a character, I'm pretty sure you just end up with something that's adjacent to this.
So, Matt, the reason why I love Layla is, 1, I think she's the closest to a gal character I'm going to get so far in Fortnite. But 2, I think hers was one of the first instances of, hey, this character, she has her hands in her pocket, and then her actual in-game arms are from her like possessed stuffed animal. I don't know, her stand, her whatever. So it's essentially this girl who has her hands in her pocket, and then her demonic teddy bear or rabbit plushie is using her arms. And that, I think conceptually, she was one of the coolest skins upon release. I think they've only done that one other time where there was this essentially cyberpunk kind of seeming like a cage fighter, so her hands are like bound, but then she has floating robot hands. But Matt, when her initial look was leaked, I instantly fell in love with this character design. Layla by far was my most used skin of 2022, and stylistically and conceptually, she is my favorite Fortnite skin of 2022.
Yeah.
But Matt, a lot of Fortnite skins this year, but if we were talking about resolutions, Matt, I think I need to cut back on the Fortnite just so I can be able to explore more mediums. So just like 2019's anime season for me, I think my 2022 Fortnite career will be a special one, but it's one that I have to take a step back, and at least I'm taking a step back from Layla being one of the best skins that they've released.
Oh man, I can't wait until 2025 when a better like replacement skin happens.
Or just the Dress Up Darling collab and Marin's character.
Oh man, that'd be wild actually.
So Matt, now that we're talking about video games, I think this has been a beefy episode, but it's a year of celebration, Matt. So of course it's going to be beefy. But Matt, I managed to, between a lot of Switch releases, between me getting a Steam Deck, between all the Game Pass releases, I actually played a fair amount of video games this year. And I was able to kind of go back on everything I played, and I actually managed to make a top 10 list of games I enjoyed. Kind of just to kind of go through them right now with just me sharing a bit of why I like that game so much. Number 10 was the last game I talked about in 2022, Midnight Fight Express. Matt, you know me, I love me a good brawler. I love me some free flow combat. And as I described during that last episode of the Mistake Zone, when it clicks, and it can lead to some really fun moments. What I loved about it the most was it had a lot of different challenges, a lot of different unlocks. Sure, there were some instances that were annoying, some enemies that really break the flow. But when you're able to get into that Zen-like state, it just really clicks and it looks really cool. So in terms of brawlers, I have to give it to Midnight Fight Express this year. Number 9, Matt, this might surprise you, but I have to give it to Power Wash Simulator. Matt,
Oh, okay.
great Game Pass game and a great, man, this was my podcast game for the year. When I finally gave up on Forza Horizon 5, just because that was my go-to podcast game and I just couldn't keep up with the weekly grind, I would find myself just playing Power Wash Simulator while I was listening to some podcast. And again, it's a different Zen-like state where I just love the concept of power washing, Matt. We used to share those satisfying power wash videos in high school and just to have a game. I don't know. I really enjoyed my time with it this year. Matt, I actually played through after your talk of Scarlet and Violet, Matt. I played through, I didn't play through, but I played a good chunk of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Arceus?
Arceus, I think
And
both
Matt?
are acceptable pronunciations.
But Matt, again, I find myself in the trappings of this is a great first step. And I'm really excited to see where they take the Legends formula, just because, again, I was kind of getting burnt out on the tried and true Pokemon formula that we grew up with. The re-release of Diamond and Pearl didn't do much for me. I think I voiced how much Sword and Shield wasn't that, exciting. But Matt, to see your love for Violet and Scarlet, but for someone who had Legends just sitting in his gaming pile, I finally took a deep dive in that. I think that was the closest I've come to enjoying Pokemon since the heyday of Go, and I'm really excited just to see where the Legends take it. Matt, number 7, got a shout out, Splatoon 3.
Hey.
Matt, even though it was Splatfest this weekend and I didn't touch it at all, for those 110 hours that I put into Splatoon 3 in 2022, Matt, tried and true Splatoon. I love trying to see, as a person in their early 30s, if I'm still a squid or a kid. But Matt, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It just plays well, and I love to meet some Splatoon 3. Speaking about threes, number 6, Matt, Bayonetta 3, the long anticipated game. You know me, Matt. Character action games are another love of mine. And even though the ending might not have stuck the landing, maybe the kaiju battle moments, weren't the greatest, I think just this is still platinum at their A game. This is still solid character action, and that gotta give it to Bayonetta 3. And when coming to the top 5, Matt, for number 5, I have to give it to Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
I never knew you played that.
Yep, I played it, and it was something that me and my partner also did co-op. Matt, if you're not Kirby, like you shouldn't really bother with co-op. You being Bandana D is not a good, satisfying experience in my opinion, but for Kirby, you playing as Kirby, it's just a solid Kirby game. I'm not necessarily a Kirby fan, but just seeing all the different power-up items, Matt, mouthful mode is so stupid, but I think it's one of those games where, okay, it's an easygoing, low stakes, but Matt, some of those challenges to get some of the hidden Waddle Dees, some of those are pretty brutal as well. So have to give it to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 4, have to give this to Pentiment. I think, give or take, I'm not the biggest fan of visual novels. I like them in theory, but I think I would like them. Now that I have a Steam Deck, I think I would like visual novels more. But Pentiment, I think I said it when we talked about it on the show. Great Game Pass game. Visually, I loved it. All the different kind of sub-stories, all the characters you meet were really good too. I think it was written pretty well as well. And I think it is something that I'll probably go back to in the future just to kind of explore different actions, different trying to talk to different characters a different way or trying to prioritize different things. But it's definitely one of the surprises I had this year. And for my top three, I think you know where this is heading, Matt. Number three, I have to give to Neon White. As someone who likes speedrunning games speedrunning time attack games in theory, I think Neon White is the closest I'll ever get to actually really diving deep into a game like this. I think what really helped it for me was I had friends on my Steam list that were also playing it. So even though I could never touch the world leaderboards, it was nice just going back and forth with those friends kind of locally. And I love how it looks. I love how tight it controls, and just seeing all the different speedrun videos and then me trying to do those as well. That was a really fun experience. Matt, number two, of course, Vampire Survivors 1.0 this year. What more can I say about Vampire Survivors that we haven't said in our dedicated episode this year? A DLC segment is coming in the near future as well, but Matt, that achievement chase, that the early to mid game, we love this game so much, and of course it was my number two, but of course that means my number one is Elden Ring. Matt, my most played Steam game. I thought about this game a lot. I'm still being served YouTube shorts and TikToks of people discovering like new little things. This game is massive. This was my first real taste of a From like Souls-like game, and that again, what more can I say that hasn't been said about this game before? That we did a whole episode, and I'm just waiting for new DLC. Just another reason for me to go back to the Lands Between, or whatever it's called, because I really, really loved my time with Elden Ring. It's still something I think about. And in that, going back to my Steam replay, my biggest back-to-back daily, play sessions, or whatever they called it, I had a 24-day long streak. That was all Elden Ring, Matt.
Nice.
Again, what more can I say about this beefy game? But that was my game of the year 2022.
Nice.
How about you, Matt? What were some of your favorites of the year?
Jaren, my list isn't ordered, which probably doesn't matter because about half of this list is games that you mentioned. Jaren, like, of course, my list has Splatoon 3 on it because Jaren, both of us went really hard on Splatoon 3.
Yep.
And then dropped off. Jaren didn't even know there was a Splatfest this weekend.
Matt, quick, before we move on, sweet, sour, or spicy, which team would you have joined?
Probably sweet.
Yeah.
I think sweet.
Yeah. I probably would have too.
Like, sour is okay, but I don't think it beats sweet for me. And Jaren, I'm a baby. I don't think I can do spicy.
I feel that, Matt. I feel that. But okay, Splatoon 3. We went hard and we burned out, but that's okay, Matt. That's okay.
Jaren, of course I have Vampire Survivors on here. Like, that achievement chase was just so good. Of course, the start of this year with Elden Ring was wild. That was just such a crazy game. And then you have these kind of two clunkers of Pokemon Arceus and Violet.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're good conceptual games that are held back by being technically super busted.
Yes.
But gameplay wise, they're super good.
And again, I have to say, especially with Legends, to me at least, I'm not sure if you felt it, Matt, but just how it can serve as a potential blueprint of what Pokemon can be in the future. And I think that's what really made it enjoyable for me as well.
Same. But then going on to games that you didn't have on your list, one of them for me is Played Up. I think that it is a very, very fun game that kind of revitalized the Overcooked kind of like gameplay formula for me. I thought it was like a nice like little twist on that, and it's very much worth co-oping. Another one of them for me that has been out for a while, but it hit 1.0 last year is Grounded.
Right.
That is like a very good game, I think. Like, it's such a nice twist on like building genres of like, just being shrunk down and being able to explore a backyard, and that sense of scale in that game is just so good. As bad as Wizards of the Coast is doing right now in terms of Dungeons and Dragons and all their kind of like all the hate that they're getting, Solasta Crown of the Magister is a very, very good D&D 5e game.
Yeah.
And I think very much worth checking out if you like that system.
Okay.
And Jaren, I think these two were probably, for me personally, my biggest surprises, like as I was making this list, because they are both visual novels, and that is a genre that I am not usually about. The first one is I Was a Teenage Exocolonist.
Right.
Which I think I'm going to talk about eventually, but great game. You're basically just living out your teenage life as like a citizen of a new, like just discovered planet, and like it just follows your life from like age 1 to 19, and I think that's just like a good kind of like story building thing. It lends itself well to being replayed. And the other one is Case of the Golden Idol.
Oh, okay.
Jaren, I saw a tweet from Jason Schreier who said something along the lines of like, there's two types of Game of the Year lists. Ones that have Case of the Golden Idol and ones that were made by people who didn't play Case of the Golden Idol.
Okay.
And I fully understand that. Case of the Golden Idol is, I think, such a good mystery, kind of like mystery solving game. And it's kind of like tricky enough that it makes you think, but it makes enough sense that you're like, oh, once you hit that aha moment, everything just starts tumbling into place and it just feels so good. I think that if you like mysteries, or even if you like honestly don't like mysteries, this isn't a very long game. It's maybe like 5 or 6 hours. But just the kind of like systems they use there, really all you're doing is you're interacting with items on the screen. They add a word to your word bank, and then you're kind of filling out the end, kind of in the same way that the Danganronpa series, like when you're doing a trial and you're kind of filling in that end comic. It's kind of like that. And it sounds super boring, but man, Jaren, the feeling of the aha moments and oh, I finally understand, and oh, I was looking at this all wrong, when all of that starts to just like click together. It's just so good. And I think that even though this is a solo, like supposed to be a solo game, I think that maybe being able to like co-op it with someone, like especially as like I think a couch co-op game, this would be a very, very like good experience.
Okay, Matt, I think this is definitely something I want to check out for 2023 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt, maybe when I do check it out, maybe we can do a spoiler cast or something along those lines. But
yeah,
I think you describing that game gave me the biggest smile on my face. And yeah, that's definitely something I want to check out now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a great game.
Okay, Matt. Any other games that you want to shout out for 2022?
I mean, I guess one more visual novel is Citizen Sleeper. That is
Right.
still like also a very, very strong visual novel.
Right.
I think Teenage Exocolonist and that are probably on par. Teenage Exocolonist probably just being more relevant to me right now because it's a more recent play for me. But
For sure.
Citizen Sleeper was also a great story.
Okay.
And I feel like I really got to get more into visual novels like this coming year.
All right, Matt, is that one of your resolutions or something you'll keep in
I
your
think
back
so.
pocket? Okay.
I think so. Maybe I'll play Pentiment, Jaren. Maybe I'll play Pentiment.
Awesome. Well, Matt, I think this has been a good year for video games, anime, and manga. But Matt, as I said before, now that we have set a precedent here on the Mistake Zone, I think now I'm more inclined to make sure next year we do it even bigger, because this has been a beefy boy episode. And Matt, no better way that I want to kick off the start of the year in the Mistake Zone other than just kicking it with one of my best friends in the whole wide world, celebrating everything we experienced last year. And hopefully this year is full of even more mistakes, but even more pleasant surprises as well. But Matt, again, beefy episode.
Yep.
This has been our first Mistake Zone of 2023. I want to thank you for not only joining me this week, but joining me every week, Matt, and indulging in all our many mistakes.
Hey.
I want to thank all our friends that are supporting us by listening. And I want to thank Layla from Fortnite.
Hey.
I want to thank Elden Rings. I want to thank Fia for giving me a hug.
Uh-huh.
I want to thank visual novels. I want to thank anime. But Matt, a lot of thanks, and hopefully 2023 is full of many more. But Matt, please take it away.
This has been the Mistake Zone, and we're all out of 2022.